This is a service learning project presentation for the course Geos 212, Spring 2023. I'd like to open with a story. When I was younger, my family and I would visit my aunt in the United States territory known as the Virgin Islands. On one such visit, we went snorkeling in the underwater national park Buck Island. Buck Island has an expansive coral reef and plenty of marine wildlife. While we were snorkeling, I saw a ton of different fish, an octopus, a barracuda, and then a shark. That had me on edge enough, but when I saw the second shark, that was too much for 11-year-old me. Looking back at it now, I wish I'd stayed in the water a little longer, because now the coral reefs are in danger. To paint you a picture of how important coral reefs are to the world's ecosystem, here are some facts. First, coral is an animal and can move throughout the day, extending and retracting tendrils to grab passing food. Some coral can even swim. Despite being animals, they and other marine organisms produce 50% of the world's oxygen, despite coral only using up 0.0025% of the oxygen in the world. They absorb 1/3 of the carbon dioxide in the Earth's atmosphere. More than 25% of all recorded marine life is found in coral reef ecosystems worldwide, from plankton to sharks. Coral has been around for 400 million years and has helped make the environment livable for us. Existing for so long means coral are tough to kill, but the most dangerous threat to coral is a new one: climate change. Climate change threatens coral by threatening another species that lives on coral, Zooxanthellae. These symbiotic organisms coat coral and give them the famous bright colors. But once the water becomes too hot, the Zooxanthellae leave, and the coral turns bone white. After that, all the creatures that use the coral for camouflage or breeding grounds or food, they leave. And so does everything that eats them, and it causes an ecological chain reaction that causes most, if not all, species to leave or die off. This has happened between 2014 and 2017 to 75% of all coral ecosystems. This is not an isolated phenomenon, as 30% of the world's ecosystem has been affected. When the coral is in this state, it is vulnerable to disease and starvation, which can result in its death, and turns it from white to black. There is, however, hope for coral. Coral bleaching is reversible, and it happens naturally during major weather events or extremely low tides. If the water returns to normal, Zooxanthellae will return, and that starts another ecological chain reaction that can restore a reef's ecosystem. This can only happen before the coral turns black, however, so acting fast is imperative. Some of you may be asking, well, what can I do? I live in the desert. Well, you can think globally and act locally. You can do your part to help reduce carbon emissions, like biking or walking instead of driving, or using an electric car. Thank you all for listening. This was my service learning project for the Geos 212 course.